Hello, Holy Cross community. This is Father Gerasimos here at the Ark Encounter in Williamsport, Kentucky, and it is an honor to be here. Good people, Christian people, built this ark as proof of the reality that an ark can be built and be sustainable in carrying multiple animals as described in the Bible, and so that civilization can be survived. You know, the ark is a reality and testimony to us of the sinfulness of mankind. The Bible says very much that the reason why God, with a lot of sadness, decided to destroy the world was because of the reality that mankind his mind was totally on evil constantly, and so forth. And with the great world that God created, reached the point that it had estranged itself from God and wanted itself to, God wanted to cleanse the world from the flood. But as in every period, God finds the righteous, and Noah was very righteous, and because of that, God chose him. And Noah had great belief that he built an ark where land only was, and in this area, and for 100 years he was building it. And then finally the rain came, and the foundations of the waters from the foundations of the earth opened, and all the earth, as we know, was covered. True enough, I mention these things is to remind us how great sin can be, and how sad it is that God sees the sin on this earth. I mention these things to emphasize how amazing that Noah was found to be righteous in the eyes of God. I mention of these that Noah had faith that in a place where there is no ocean at all, God created an ark so that he could be obedient to God's will. I mentioned to this that as the ark was a refuge for the people, the same way the church is a refuge for people, because the church is the one that keeps and protects us from the ways of the world and from the evil. And how saddened I am as a priest sometimes that when our parishioners don't go to church and don't come into the ark but stand inside. You know, Jesus Christ mentions the ark and mentions about Noah, and therefore it's not fairy tales. Jesus Christ did not believe in fairy tales. The ark was real, and there's discoveries also of fragments of the ark on Mount Ararat. But what's important that Jesus Christ said to us and warns us, he says, just as the time of Noah, where everybody was eating and drinking, giving himself to marriage, the same thing is true. In the end, the flood came and everything was destroyed. The same thing will be at the end of times, that we'll be eating and drinking and giving ourselves to marriage, and then the end will come. And therefore, Jesus Christ was warning us of that reality and tells us that we have to be aware and be vigilant, as the church says. So my good people, are we living our life close to the church? Are we living our lives inside the ark, which is the church? Are we just eating and drinking, having a good time and going on vacations and other things, and not conscientious of the poor, of the needy, and of our spiritual world? 40 days and 40 nights it rained, and it took about another several months after that for the earth to dry up. And Noah sent forth the dove, and the dove came back with a symbol of peace, which is a branch of an olive tree. And then afterwards, when Noah offered his sacrifice to God, God showed the rainbow. How sad it is that the rainbow is used for other purposes in our modern culture. But the rainbow is the promise of God that he will not destroy the world with a flood. But let us not take advantage of these promises of God. Let us be his people, and let him be our God. And therefore, my good people, signing off from the Ark Encounter, where the real size ark is here, of roughly 500 feet wide, long, by 80 yards wide, by 45 yards tall. Father Gerasimos signing off. Amen.